What are you saying go Steelers for? You already lost.
Because I'm ride or die no matter what. And I've honestly spent the entire podcast just like
stewing over
just steaming over here, to be honest with you.
steaming over the Stowe games.
Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk.
And hockey. Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 85 of Stick Talk Hockey. As always, I'm your host, Tico. This is my co-host.
I'm yours truly.
We got our producer over there. And 85 episodes, 85% of the way to 100. Holy cow.
Simple math.
It's quick math.
I was like, wow, you pulled that up quickly. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And what a glorious week it's been. We have a lot of news this week, which we haven't been doing news quite as much lately, but it's a lot of big ones.
Jesus. I was actually kind of thrilled going through the notes this week.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, there's like a lot here.
Yeah,
just
a
to,
lot
like,
to
go
talk
through.
about. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Great to see. And I mean, hey, you know why it's really a glorious week?
Why is that?
We got Kendrick Lamar this week.
Yes, we did. Surprise drop.
Surprise drop. GNX. We're not a music pod. It's okay, but hey.
I mean, inspired off of music, Stick Talk
Absolutely.
Hockey. It was like,
Part of the name.
it was there. It was in the namesake.
Part of the branding. I mean, we both, I don't even know if some of our listeners know this, but like we made hip hop music for years.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did. We worked together for probably a decade.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting out a hip hop song in like 10 days.
Oh my God, I am. I forgot about that. I should do something
We're putting
for
out like an old school. I mean, not old school, but we recorded that forever ago.
Yeah, that was like pre-COVID almost.
It was like right in the middle. My first line of the song is about wearing a mask.
Crazy.
Isn't that wild?
I didn't even remember that. That is so wild. Yeah, it's called Game Show.
Game show.
Yeah, coming out Friday the 13th
That's right.
in December.
In December.
So check that out if you got the time.
Yeah.
I do that music a little bit from now and then. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, this studio became a podcast studio because it was a music studio.
Yeah, I mean, it was the whole reason why. It was like, well, we have the mics here already.
Yeah.
We may as well just, move everything around a bit and do this once a week.
Do some talking.
Yeah.
And so let's do some talking.
Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm excited.
First up, the most excited we'll be about the Red Wings all year.
Yeah, the most exciting signing the Wings have had.
Pavel Datsyuk signs a one-day contract to formally end his career as a Detroit Red Wing. Now, we've seen it. I feel like we're seeing it more lately.
Yes.
Like I know for the Canucks, like Alex Edler just did it. I think Kevin Bieksa did it as well.
Yeah, I think Andy Green did it with New Jersey as well.
Okay. Yeah. And it's not for anything, right? Like there's nothing that really matters about it except it's just a great night for the organization, for the fans, and for the player. And I love to see that.
Absolutely. And I feel like when you have sometimes the way that players are sent off, like Andy Green, for example, he was just like dished off as like a deadline ship to the Islanders.
Yeah.
And he never got a chance to be celebrated, even though he was with the organization for 13 years.
He deserved celebration, for sure.
Well over a decade and wore the C.
Yeah.
Like, you got to salute a guy like that and find a way to, support him in your system and give the fans the send-off they wanted, too.
Absolutely. And I'm very much the same in Alex Edler's case, right? That was a bit of a tense break in the offseason. The fans, Alex Edler was somewhat divisive near the end of his career, but it was kind of a messy split with Jim Benning, which a lot of things were with Jim Benning.
I was going to say, everything Jim Benning touched was messy, so.
Yeah, so it was really nice for him to get that night. However, Myers went down early in that game. The Canucks have defense troubles already. I thought they should have just played him. Put him in. Probably a better option.
How old is he?
That's a great question. 39 probably.
I mean, like
He could have done it. He only retired like a year or two ago.
he could have done it.
He
Come
could have
on
played
now.
a couple periods.
Gordie Howe played until he was like dirt
55,
old.
yeah,
50
something
old.
like that. My favorite Gordie Howe stat is about Bobby Orr.
Oh,
When Gordie Howe played his first game, I'm pretty sure Bobby Orr was like under 5 years old. He might not have even been born. And when Gordie Howe retired, Bobby Orr was already in the Hall of Fame.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff there.
Mr. Hockey 100%. Hello.
No doubt. And I'm pretty sure he had like 18 goals in his final season too at like 55 years old.
That's disgusting.
It's ludicrous. Yeah, it's ludicrous. But no, this is great for Datsyuk, great for the Red Wings organization. It's just going to be a good night remembering and just reminiscing on one of the most electric players of our generation, right?
Yeah, when I think of Detroit, like I truly do think of Datsyuk first. Like,
Me too.
You have to. Making goalies look absolutely silly.
Silly. And like, look, there's lots of greats from that era. That's not to like downplay anyone else, but the highlights that you got out of Datsyuk were out of this world.
Yeah, and on some of like the greatest like pinnacle of goalies at the time, positional players.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, how many people made Jaguar look stupid?
Pavel Datsyuk did.
He certainly did.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Mr. Brodeur.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to watch Thursday Night Football?
No, I didn't.
Jay, you saw some of that, yeah?
I unfortunately did. It was such a man. Like I'm honestly like, I'm not. Like I'm a little rattled that this is even in the notes. like this feels like some shots towards me. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's not, okay? It's not. First of all, there was a guy at my bar that had $2,000 on the Steelers hitting the over on 23 points, 23.5. Why on earth would anyone make that bet? That's the most insane bet I've ever heard of in my life.
This is when I win. This is how I win.
But anyways, okay, so Thursday Night Football, Steelers and the Browns, starts the game off. Nothing on the field. Looks clear as day. Looks clear as day basically at halftime. By the fourth quarter, there was like 6 inches of snow on the field. Full on blizzard on the field.
Holy Christ.
And I think in football, but also in hockey, with the Winter Classic, Heritage Classic, Stadium Series, whatever it is there anything better than a snow game?
No. No, there's not.
Why is that? Why is the snow game so awesome?
Atmosphere.
It's such a vibe.
It gives you the same atmosphere that the unfiltered, smoked-in buildings of the 80s give you with that vintage photography. You know, that blue film?
35 millimeter.
Yep. It just fills everything in the frickin' background. That's the snow, essentially.
You're not wrong. Okay, so we'll get off football because this isn't a football pod. But, Jay, how do you feel about the Steelers blaming the loss on the snow when both teams have to play in the snow?
It's weak as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly am kind of just, like, having an anxiety attack right now just thinking about this. Because, like, that was just horrible. Like, just I don't even want to talk about it, but I could talk about it for forever. Just like how ass the coaching.
Yeah.
Just the mindset, like
Yeah.
just begging for flags.
Begging.
Numerous times.
Yes.
Losing to the Browns.
Jameis Winston.
I like Jameis. Good for him.
Who doesn't?
I was going to say, the whole reason that you guys lost in that snow game is because you couldn't kick any field goals because it was snowing.
That's all they do.
Yeah, field goal
Can't
merchants.
score a touchdown to save their dang lives.
Shut up, Boswell. That's my boy.
I'm sorry, Jay. We're just dumping on Jay to start the pod. Let's get to more.
I've taken the over on the Steelers. On field goals alone, baby.
That was actual lunacy. I could not believe this guy was losing his mind, and I was in shock. I was like, "There's no way you put money on the Steelers to have an over."
I put my kids' college tuition on this one.
That's crazy. Okay, speaking of dysfunctional organizations, how about we go to the Anaheim Ducks?
Quack.
Quack. Those Chicklets boys drumming up stuff.
When are they not?
It seems to be more of a theme lately with them.
But I mean, they're always right.
They tend to be.
Yeah, they got those like inside feelers. It's kind of crazy.
And they're saying some things about the locker room out in Anaheim being divided, unhappy in general. With the Cronin.
Cronin, the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing with Anaheim, right? I haven't really dived into this. I actually just read this as we're doing the show notes. But there's something about having a coach of a young team that really wants them to play not a free-flowing style that is such a hard line to walk, right? Where, yeah, in some ways it can turn them quickly into those more of a complete two-way player that you want them to be. But then at what point do you start to lose the room? At what point do they start to lose the fire?
Well, and at what point do you lose what makes your draft quality special?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
The Ducks are the team that drafted free-flowing, high speed,
high octane,
high IQ, like players that make quick plays and can make solo plays that change the game. If you're going to punish a guy for doing what he did his whole life, what got him to the show,
what made him so special,
why'd you bring him on board?
Yeah. And, well, there's two sides to that, too, right? Because there's lots of players that do that their whole career and can't in the NHL. And you do have to change those players. But when you have, like, truly elite talent that can do that at the NHL level, you need to let them.
Yeah.
And yes, there's growing pains with that. They're not going to figure it out right away. And that's the hard part as a coach, right? Is, on the other hand, you want to keep your job.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, look at Kovalchuk, look at Ovechkin, look at, like, I mean, sorry that all of them are Russians. I wish I could sound less biased.
Yeah, but, like, look at the Devils.
Another great example.
Right? And instead of trying to make them into the Flyers, let them be the Devils.
Yeah. They're going to make mistakes, but, like, they make way more plays than they make mistakes.
Yeah. So this doesn't shock me. In all seriousness, and there's really something to be said for, we've talked about this a couple times, like alignment within your organization. We were just talking about this a couple weeks ago with Toronto, and they need to find that.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to.
They need to set out clear intentions. It's great that everyone has their own agenda. It's nice to want things, but like you got to get on the same page at a certain point. Like especially in Anaheim's situation, it's been far too long. I mean, and you have guys turning the corner that look good, and you need to start, like, utilizing that. Yeah.
I think it's really, though, like, I think it's around now that you need that to start happening. Like, I don't think it's too late, you know?
No, and
it's just, like, around now.
Certainly, and I think that they still have a year or two because they could still flip Gibson and buy themselves some more time on the clock with some fresh picks. It's just getting to a place where they're going to have to start really considering, like, having a serious conversation about what is our intention with the rebuild and what type of a team do we want to be. Because I think you can get really lost in even the free-flowingness of a rebuild at first, because when it's bad and it's super bad, you're just trying to keep the lights on and make the best picks possible.
Totally.
At a certain point, it's not making the best picks possible. It's making the best picks possible for you with what you have.
Right.
And that's a lot more difficult.
It is, yeah.
And that requires a lot more discipline.
It does.
Especially in a leadership level. And I'm not sure that, like, the Ducks leadership has really shown us that they're disciplined yet.
They haven't. And that's a massive problem, not just for the Ducks, right? Like, that's one of the biggest things that holds back teams from getting out of rebuilds or just getting out of being bad.
Yeah.
Is you need to be a disciplined organization from top to bottom. And they're going to have to start showing that pretty soon. But like I said, like, It took the Devils a few years. Took the Canucks way too many years.
Yeah, and I mean, growing pains are growing pains, and sometimes you just gotta wait for some contracts to expire. Unfortunately, especially with the head office, like.
But I do think, like, truly, I think if there is some tension in that locker room, and they decide to move on from Cronin and get everyone on the same page, that team could be good in the not distant future.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think this team has a lot of really solid potential, but I think that Cronin he's not going to revive Zegras. He's not going to bring back McTavish. They both look good still. They both have a lot in the tank, but you got to find something better for him. You got to find.
You got to figure that out.
You got to find a Travis Green. You got to find something.
Yeah. So we got Calgary wins 4 of their last 5. Are they back?
Are they?
No.
Why not?
They're just not. Like what's back? What's their record, Joe? Can you pull that up?
I think they're 12-6 or something. 12-5.
But like, what is back?
Like,
Back to elite?
Are we considering them like a team? No, they're 12-6-3. They have 27 points. They're second in the Pacific. Are they back?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that like 2 weeks ago they were 7th, and we were dumping on them.
Yeah. No, I'm not convinced. I mean, like, shocker. I know I've been beating on this drum all year, but
You're not buying into the Dustin Wolf hype. Dustin Wolf.
No, I am. I really like Dustin Wolf
because that's a big part of why they won their last 5 as well.
Absolutely.
Or, 4 of their last 5, I should say. Sorry.
Like yes, I quite like him. He's very like just entertaining as a goalie.
Yeah.
I like watching those smaller goalies like Saros and Wolf that are like, they have to be more agile and they have to kind of do more.
I think they have just like a little bit more zest in their personality too. It's always the big goalies that are boring.
Yeah, facts. I quite like Wolf. I still don't believe in that lineup. They're clearly difficult to play against. They're playing some really disciplined hockey. I'm not sure how long that's gonna stay. Like, it just reminds me so much of like Philly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just
squeaking it out, but not necessarily like anything notably good.
I mean, we're creeping up on 30 games here.
And
so at a certain point, I got to think, okay, maybe this is a wild card team.
Maybe this team is legitimate.
No, but I don't think they're anything close to legitimate. Like, what does legitimate mean?
I mean, they're making the playoffs. That's legitimate to me.
Okay, yeah, I'm still not sold that they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think it's out of like the complete realm of possibility now. But looking at the Kings, the Oilers, and the Canucks, I think there's a very little chance that they finish above those 3 teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can buy that.
Which means you're preying on a wild card spot against a pretty tight Central Division.
My follow-up to this
Mm-hmm.
was, do you think that Calgary is benefiting off of the Vegas syndrome?
Like the everyone counted us out thing?
Yeah, as in the it's a snoozer, we don't have to worry about this too much, they're a 20th place team, who gives a damn?
Yeah.
Calgary's just a landing place where we're going to play and then take off the next day. It's just another stop, ho-hum.
Absolutely. I mean, I read a piece of at The Athletic. I'd love to tell you the author of it. I cannot remember who the author of the article was, but there was a piece up on The Athletic about the Flames and how management went to them in the offseason and said, hey, went to basically the core vets, Kadri, Huberdeau, Anderson, and a couple other guys, and basically said, hey, look, like, we know that this team has been through the ringer the last few years. We've lost a lot of guys, but we're not selling anymore. We're in this for the long haul now. You guys all have big contracts. You're here for the long haul. You have to lead the way. It's working.
Yeah.
And, for a lot of these guys, they haven't had the chance to lead the way for a team, right? Like Kadri's never really had the opportunity to be the guy on a team.
He's always actually been a background player, and when he got to the Avalanche, he was even less of a background player. He was like an afterthought. He was a seventh player. He was one of the scratches on the top of the head.
Absolutely. Rasmus Anderson's had that his entire career, which has been in Calgary. Jonathan Huberdeau even wasn't really that guy in Florida. He was, but
not really.
He was sharing the spotlight.
Yeah, and I mean, like, he was still so early in his career. That's like kind of, I don't know. That'd be like saying that like Harden was the guy in OKC, or Durant was the guy in OKC. It's like, they were all like early.
They were kind of the guys in OKC.
They were the guys, but like, they were also early in their career as well. That's kind of like they weren't like, if you were to go out of your way to be like, those are the GOATs back in 2014, everyone would be like, you're out of your tree, dude. What are you talking about? We've seen 3 seasons of work. Like, get out of here.
So it really does seem like the Flames have benefited from having some solidity in the lineup.
Yes.
And like we said, uniformity up and down, right? Alignment between everyone.
Yep.
I just still don't buy that they're like a dangerous team.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of teams just see Calgary as a layover destination where it's like, another place to stay in a hotel on a road trip.
Yeah, and that won't last much longer with how good they've been.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, teams are going to start taking them seriously pretty quick here if they're not starting to right now.
Yeah, I mean, they should.
Yeah.
It's not something I would be napping on if they're, 6-2-2 with 58 goals for, like...
Jonesy, what's your thoughts on Calgary?
They remind me of Utah or Arizona last year.
Right.
In that sense of like, you like Arizona wasn't a good team last year, but their home record, even in that college barn, was like actually very good.
Yeah.
So they give me that vibe of like people think they're just going to come into Calgary and handle business, but
it's harder than that.
That has not seemed to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
That Coyotes team last year finished with 77 points.
Remember when we did the road to 34?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
do you remember when we celebrated in suits with champagne for the called it the death of the desert dogs? That was one of the first videos I sent my boss in the Royals. He was like, "Oh, you make podcasts?" I was like, "Yeah, check this out." We wore suits for this episode.
We had champagne for it.
It was a special day.
That was special.
He's like, "I love it. This is incredible."
Okay. Yeah.
I got something to bring up, kinda.
Sure.
We've talked a lot about the American Thanksgiving thresh point.
Next week.
Whatever you want to say.
Threshold.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be...
It's coming.
I'm off on Thursday.
Oh, same.
So, I'm going to be getting my ass up at 9 in the morning to watch my Lions play on Thanksgiving Day as they do every year.
It's such a bad slate.
It's actually a horrific
we
slate.
are not a football pod, but wow. It's
some NHL level scheduling.
Man, footballs make me mad.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But I'm going to get up, watch my Lions at 9:30 in the morning. Those second and third games don't move me that much. So I will be just running through new takes based on that American Thanksgiving mark for hockey.
I like it.
Yeah.
Find me with something heaty and zesty because it will be chilly.
I'm excited. What's next on the docket there, Big J? Ooh, it's injury time.
Woof is it ever?
I'm actually so sad. My sweet, sweet Russian prince. My sweet, sweet genocide endorsing Russian prince. Ovi. Dog, Ovi was on a heater.
Hat trick Ovi.
Are you kidding me? 5 goals in 2 games, and then boom. 4 to 6 weeks with a broken leg.
From f***ing Jack McBain.
Jack McBain.
McBain of my existence.
I like literally minutes before that injury, I was texting like numerous people being like, Ovi might do it this year.
Yeah.
He might do it this season.
I was buying in. I had fully bought in, actually. After like the 5-2, I was like, yeah, whatever. He's back.
Yeah, he needed 27 in the remaining 65. I was like, he's going to do it.
That's easy. Easy work.
And then
especially the way that whole
Whack Jack over here had to blow it for everyone.
Yeah, gee, like, thanks, buddy. I can list like 10 things off the top of my head I would rather do than watch Jack McBain play hockey. I would rather eat a Pop-Tart that's been frosted with broken glass than watch Jack McBain play a minute of hockey.
All right. Yeah. So that's actually really, really unfortunate. That I think is the most time he's ever missed from an injury.
I don't think Ovi's really had that many injuries.
No,
has he?
that's one of the biggest things about him is Russian machine never breaks.
Way less than Crosby, right? Like
way less.
Which is also one of those things that I always like mean to bring up, but I forget when we're doing the whole like Crosby versus Ovechkin thing. It's like Crosby was hurt for a lot of this.
He was, yeah.
And I mean, he
just hit 600 goals last night.
Still.
Yeah.
The goddamn GOAT. Man.
Shout out to Crosby. Shout out to Ovi. Get back soon, man. It's crazy. The Capitals genuinely were must-watch TV for the last couple weeks for me.
100%.
I've watched more Capitals games than any other team, and that includes the Canucks, who I watch pretty much religiously.
Yeah. I mean, did you see that Jerome?
Dylan Strome.
Yes.
He's been electric.
Okay. So he's been like a major proponent of the Ovi goals.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Massively, yeah.
Y'all catch that Ovi called him? Like
He kept calling him Backy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kept calling him Backstrom. I know. It's so funny. Ovi he's just a goal machine. Like, the guy is completely delusional, and I'm just so here for it. I'm so here for it.
He's in his senile politician phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just calling dudes random names.
Ovi's a top what player all time?
Russian?
No. Like, is he top 10?
I personally would say yeah. I'm also not a big NHL historian, though.
Yeah,
truth
fair.
be told.
Yeah.
That's like I want to say yeah, but then I feel like you're just gonna run into a million like historian contrarians that just want to flex the brain and be like, well, actually, if you factor in the fact that Mike Bossy in 1984.
I feel like it's a hard one to judge. Like, I feel like Ovi's the Steph Curry of the NHL.
How so?
Elite shooter. Probably belongs higher in conversations than he will be.
I think he's more like the Kawhi Leonard. He's not flashy enough to be like
Ovi?
Yeah.
Alex Ovechkin.
He's not nearly flashy enough.
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about Kawhi not being?
Kawhi's not flashy, yeah.
Kawhi is not flashy, but he always steps into that spot and he makes it hit. And you know what? That's the thing.
That's crazy.
Early Ovi was flashy as shit, but like I don't know what Ovi you've been watching in the last 10 years.
The one that stands, one tees, and sellies his ass off into the boards.
Yeah, he stands there.
Yes.
He stands there.
Yes.
That's the point. He stands there.
Who cares?
The
guy is
what makes
ripping one tees.
Okay, yeah, but like
ripping them.
Steph Curry's dynamic is
Is.
Still is.
Ovi was. Curry's not as old as Ovi.
Okay, yeah, but like my point still stands that like Steph is like the Sidney Crosby.
No.
Yes.
What do we all know Steph for?
Deep threes.
That's right. What do we all know Ovi for?
Standing in one spot and ripping clappers
ripping one-tees from outside. Is that not the same thing?
He's not even outside, though. He's inside of the hash marks. He's like technically in the middle of the slot.
He's rarely in the slot. He's not in the slot for those.
What do you mean? He's standing on the hash marks of the face-off dot.
He's usually at the dot or further.
Maybe?
That's not the slot.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just like he's a catch and release player. He's not Steph. He's Klay Thompson. How's that?
Klay Thompson's not a top 10 NBA player of all time.
Okay, well then who's that dude from the Raptors?
Which one? DeMar?
No, pre-DeMar.
Vince?
Old head. Yeah, Carter. Thank you.
No. They just retired his jersey in Toronto.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Okay, then he's Carter.
I don't hate that.
He's just like he's not dynamic enough for me to be like if Ovi was like ripping like clap bombs from like the blue line like Shea Weber and like absolutely flossing it past goalies nonstop like everywhere he was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd yield, but like he's not. You know.
I guess so. I don't know.
Like Kirill Kaprizov.
I think Ovi's dynamic.
Kirill Kaprizov is the Steph Curry. That kid is just shooting at the net no matter where the he is on the ice, and it seems to go Bardizzi.
I don't hate that either, but I mean, like, maybe like right this moment, Kirill is that, but like you got to do it a lot longer and win some stuff and do some stuff to be anywhere near Steph for that. But I see what you're saying for play style, at least. Yeah.
I just Yeah.
Okay. Hockey. Freddie Anderson dead
again. Again.
8 to 12 weeks after knee surgery. That's rough for the Hurricanes. Kochetkov. Up.
That's my boy.
Whoop whoop whoop.
I like that guy. I like me some Kochetkov.
That's true. You've been a big praiser of Kochetkov for quite a while, and it's slowly paying dividends for you.
Yeah. You know, I get these players. I get a feeling on them, and I'm rarely wrong.
Do you say you're really wrong?
No, rarely wrong.
Oh, well.
You know how much?
Let's check Jacob Verano's stat line.
Do you know how much I shoveled on the Martin Necas will be elite one day?
We talked about this.
We talked about this a lot, just not on the pod a lot, but like we
did. We've had a lot of conversations about this.
Everyone denied me the Martin Necas is going to be great. What is he doing now?
Yeah. All right.
With the real Slim Shady, please stand up.
Hockey Live. Absolutely nothing beats it. The thrill of a game in person, crashing against the boards, pucks off the glass. It's phenomenal. And if you're looking to catch a game, check out Game Time for tickets. Coming up, if you're in BC like we are, the Vancouver Giants, the Victoria Royals, you can find tickets for as low as $10. They got tickets to the WWE at Rogers Arena for $31. And that's not including, obviously, the Vancouver Canucks as low as $44 for their matchup with Boston tonight. The Game Time app has you covered for everything you need with tickets. They've got super deals. They've got seat views before you buy, lowest price guarantees, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and even more. And that's not even including Game Time picks, a curation system that makes it even easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Black Friday and Cyber Monday are coming up this week. Nothing beats it. They're getting some great deals around this time, whether it's for family members, friends, whether it's just for yourself. Getting an amazing deal that you wouldn't usually get is just fantastic about Black Friday, except with Raycon, because with Raycon, you get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year. But that doesn't mean that they're not having any sales for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Far from it. They're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering my viewers up to 30% off site-wide. A Black Friday deal you'll appreciate every day are Raycon's everyday earbuds, especially if you haven't checked out their latest model which includes plenty of new features that make them even more of a must-have for any audio lover, like 32-hour battery life, multi-point connectivity, and active noise cancellation. I'll tell you, the noise cancellation is a huge one for me, especially for long flights or long car rides or anything like that. And it's really difficult to find that at an accessible price point until now, because that's another thing. Although Raycon's quality rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio, Raycon started just half the price as the other guys. So they're already an incredible deal, even before you factor in their Black Friday offer of up to 30% off site-wide. Personally, I'm a big fan. I love the colors. I love the quality. I'm more of a black earbud guy myself, but I love that for people who want to spice it up, you can get them in any color you want. So now's the perfect time to scoop them up if you haven't already. And don't worry, if you're not as impressed as I am, Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee. So really, you can't lose. It's time to save big for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/THPN. The 24-25 NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
More stuff that's not the greatest, but had to be seen coming.
I mean, yeah, the clock was ticking, and we knew the clock was ticking on this for a while now.
Jim Montgomery, shown the door in Boston. Thanks for all you've done, but time to take a hike, pal.
Yeah.
With like a 140 and 20 something record.
Yeah, after being a finalist for like a Ted, was it a Ted
Jack
Lids?
Adams.
Jack Adams, thank you.
Yeah. This is just like, it had to be seen coming, like you said, for sure. The coach is always the first chip to fall.
It is, and it really emphasizes the fact that the NHL is like, yeah, you've done a lot for me, but what have you done for me recently?
Exactly.
Type league.
Exactly. And like, we can agree, right, that this is not Jim Montgomery's fault.
Oh God, no. God, no.
Like, this roster is so deeply flawed in so many ways.
If I was the Ducks right now, I'd be firing Cronin out of a goddamn cannon.
Jim Montgomery will find a job very quickly in the NHL. So, hey, it's Tico here. I'm editing this podcast right now, and of course, in classic Stick Talk fashion, the St. Louis Blues fired Drew Bannister and hired Jim Montgomery, like, within hours of us finishing this podcast. So, yeah, he did find a job, and it did happen quickly, and let's get back to it.
He should.
Very quickly.
There are some teams I would be like hitting the full stop brakes on, firing the coach out of a cannon and being like, it starts now.
I mean, we talked a lot about the coaching carousel last year, right? There were so many firings. There hasn't been many this year.
No, and I think that teams are probably realizing that, there's recapture penalties.
Yeah.
On coaches.
Yeah, I mean, the Canucks they're paying 3 right now.
Yeah, you can't keep firing everyone you have a problem with.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can trade away players. You can't trade away coaching contracts.
Nope.
That's just tough biz.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah.
Also, I think we just have a lot of like coaches in newer situations this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot less of like, staleness.
Yeah. I do think though they will start happening. It's where the modern NHL is, and Jim will find a job pretty quickly.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, the coach is always the first one to get the door.
Yeah.
Not usually right, but like, And I do have to commend Nashville for that,
Yeah.
Trotz was very vocal, perhaps a little too vocal.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't take the losing out on the coaching staff.
Yeah, and that's the easy way out, right? And he didn't do that.
No, he put some players on waivers, and he said, "You know what? If we lose you, we lose you. But you aren't good enough. Good ain't good enough.
Yeah,
and someone's gonna learn."
Yep, absolutely. And once again, that's about alignment, right? Like, I mean, Barry Trotz and Andrew Burnett are quite close, and from all accounts that you can find, Andrew Burnett is a very intelligent hockey mind. So I still think they're gonna somewhat figure it out. They stomped someone tonight. I can't remember who they played, but they were cooking tonight.
Were they? Oh, that's good, because they were last in the league when I was putting these notes together.
They're still last in the league.
Okay, good. Jesus.
But yeah, I just think Father Time has come for Boston. At the end of the day, the roster is so deeply flawed. They thought Elias Lindholm could be a 1C. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's a real thing anymore. And Nikita Zadorov, the fan base is losing their minds about this guy when you have a career third pairing defenseman who had a great 2 months in a second pairing role in Vancouver last year. And he's playing first pairing minutes in Boston.
Yeah.
No, duh, he doesn't look good.
Of course. And I mean, you also have to keep in mind he was playing second pairing minutes for 2 months with a first pairing guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, no shit. He had someone there to cover for him, too. Now he's the guy that has to cover.
So, Jay, do you have a take on Jim Montgomery in Boston? Was that just about time?
I was really shocked. Which apparently that wasn't the word in the Bruin streets.
Yeah, they've been saying it.
There's just so many people that have coaching jobs still that I just can't believe Jim Montgomery is the first of the season.
That's so valid. Like, you're in agreement with us, right? That like that Boston's placement is not the fault of Jim Montgomery, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Pasternak came out and said it too. He said, like, we haven't played to our standards, and because of that, we lost a great leader and a great teammate. Like,
yeah,
he's choked about losing Jim Mo.
Absolutely, which is, as we talked about with alignment, this is finally. This may go down as one of like those things that gets aged so terribly and gets put into a meme in a year. But I think that finally we're seeing the fall of the Bruins.
Yeah. And you know what? I think this also coincidentally tails back to what we were talking about 20 minutes ago about being disciplined.
Yeah.
I think if you kept Jimmo, like, he's part of that clinging, everlasting Boston culture.
Yeah, that gravity defiance.
And letting him go is like just turning off the zero gravity.
Yeah, it's a rare snap decision, it feels like, from the organization.
And it feels like a really blind decision when you consider everything they have.
Yeah.
And like we looked at this line 3 months ago in previews and said, no. Didn't do enough work. Like, this was a team that was going to need some extreme creativity.
Yeah.
At a head office level, and they didn't do it, and they didn't do the work,
No.
They didn't do the research, they didn't do the scouting, they didn't do the homework.
Correct.
If you don't have picks, you don't need picks.
Yeah.
You just need to find someone that everyone else is sleeping on that you can make better.
I agree.
And they don't.
No.
They haven't in a long time.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're paying for the obvious value that everyone else sees, you're going to pay over market value. For the obvious thing, like Lindholm, or Zadorov.
Absolutely. Jay, what are we at on time here? How many slides is that thing? Like, is that going to be a half-hour segment? Because if it is, we should save it.
It can be, but it could also be really quick. Because let's tag up the rest of the injuries really quick, just because it's like literally 2 minutes to blitz through them. It's time for Trotz to pull out the Rebuildinator.
Yeah,
we can agree on that.
Yeah.
That's just like they're right in line with Boston.
Yeah.
In fact, if Trotz wasn't so tightly aligned with Burnett as we were just talking about, I'd be going after Montgomery.
Yeah.
But alas, here we are. And JT Miller. Things go from bad to worse in Canuckstown.
Mm-hmm.
He's been battling an injury for a little bit now.
Yeah.
So he finally takes a step away, says, you know what, I'm hurt and I need a mental health break.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take some time away from my body and my mind, and I'll get back to you in a few weeks.
Yeah. Comes off the benching he got the night before. So we don't have a lot of information, and we don't really want to speculate on it too much. But yeah, from the reporting from Elliot Friedman, it just seems like player and team agreed that he just needed to take a step back, give himself a bit of a reset. And they're going on a long road trip right now, so he'll be ready and home and healthy when they come back. Hopefully, could be longer, but we'll see where he's at then. Obviously, just hope the best for the guy. He's been such a fiery piece of the team, and he wears his emotions on his sleeve so clearly. And you really hope that it's got to be hard to turn that off when you leave the rink, and so you got to hope that a reset here helps him ground himself a little bit, whatever that is that's going on with him. I hope the best for the guy.
I totally get that. I totally have to agree as someone who's so much the same. Like, I just, tie so much of myself into the end result of everything I work on, everything I do. And you can see that in Miller in the way that he works. And,
for sure.
His reactions to the process immediately when it's on ice. Like, it shows. The frustration shows.
Yeah.
And, I do hope that he is able to get a clear bout with this, because I don't think the Canucks are really going to miss him for the 5 to 10 games that it takes to get fresh.
Yeah.
And I would sooner have a JT Miller at 100% for 60 games than a JT Miller at 50% for 82.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
impressive win tonight, too, for them. I mean, Quinn Hughes takes a 5-minute major game misconduct in the first 5 minutes of the game.
You see the reaction from Mama Hughes up in the Devils press box. She was at the Devils game, and you can see her watching her phone, angry. Like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, a Canucks team that had no Quinn Hughes, no JT Miller, no Brock Besser, and no Thatcher Demko. 4 of their 5 core players played an Ottawa team that's been good lately. Still came away with the dub. We like to see that to start the road trip. What's that?
No one's going to know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But I still do not understand why the bar got so hyped tonight. Like, can you fill me in on that?
I don't know what it was. Honestly, the energy in the bar tonight was crazy for this Canucks game. It was it wasn't quite playoff game level, but it was almost. And I have no idea why. They held on to the win after the Oilers, or not the Oilers, the Senators had a couple goals late to almost tie it. And they held on to the win, and Jonesy had come out right as the final horn sounded, and the place was going bonkers. People were hooting and hollering and clapping and cheering for a regular season non-divisional game in November. I don't know. It was
incredible.
I don't
Canada,
know.
baby. That's culture.
That's culture. Dang right.
We're back.
I don't know what it was, but it was cool. It was fun.
Everyone just had Canucks money line.
Yeah, no, it was actually quite bizarre, but I do like anytime we get a good bunch of people in the bar watching one game. It just energy gets high in the room. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's finish this up here with some trade rumors.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, Puck Empire, really popular news page on Instagram. they posted some updates and trade rumors from news around the league. This was for the 22nd, which is yesterday for us. It'll be a couple days earlier for you. Okay, first up, it's believed that John Gibson would be willing to waive his modified no trade clause to go to the Oilers. Now, cool.
Yeah, like neat.
Is John Gibson like the Jacob Chikrin of goaltenders?
Yes.
Like every year, it's just like John Gibson on the move.
No, we're gonna trade him. We're gonna trade him. No, we're not gonna trade him.
The Oilers could really use it.
But Jacob Chikrin like do be getting traded though. That's like the difference.
I mean now, like he's been traded twice now, but it was like 4 years of him and Matt Dumba too.
Dumba that was the name I was gonna pull. Is like Dumba's been on the trade block since he signed his contract in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're like,
well, he's gone now. He's in freaking Utah now, but he got a
but
couple trades as well at the end here, just like Chikrin, but like perennial just.
Anyone want him?
He's gonna go.
He's a valuable piece.
He's
Where's he
super
gonna
valuable.
land?
He's willing to waive for you.
We're gonna keep him in our pockets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, get.
Oilers could use it. Don't get me wrong.
They're not gonna move off of Skinner though. Like I don't buy it. I think that it's great that he wants to waive his trade clause. Like probably should get that closer to like your, save that somewhere up there.
Yeah.
But don't get your hopes up for the Oilers.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of the Oilers, next slide here: Cam Fowler, Ivan Provorov, David Savard, and Marcus Pettersson are trade options for the Oilers via the fourth period. Cool. I don't know. I kind of think those four guys are like trade options for every team looking for a defenseman right now.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are lightly on the market, so ho frickin' hum.
Yeah, the Canucks, I've heard, are big on these guys as well, particularly Marcus Pettersson, which, I mean, they're just stacking up their Petterssons.
They're Infinity Stones.
Just more Petterssons, more. One's not playing well, we'll just get more.
We need all of them.
Speaking of the Canucks, I almost brought this up, actually, when we were talking about the Bruins. But, yeah, Elliot Friedman knew what he was doing for sure when he publicly wondered if Nikita Zadorov heading back to the Canucks is a possibility. It's not.
I wonder.
It's not, though,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Like, don't wonder. That's like Jeff Merrick out loud wondering if the USHL will one day play the WHL in like a best of tournament.
Yeah.
Maybe in 30 years. Shut the fuck up, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're not there.
Yeah, like exactly, right? Maybe later in this contract, yes, it was a relationship that worked when Zadorov was here, but that also seems like Zadorov had some comments a couple weeks ago where it seemed like he was a little bit like unhappy with the Canucks not giving him the money he wanted.
I mean, that's fair too. Like, if
Totally,
you think you're worth something and then a team like looks you square in the eyes and goes, "Nah, you're worth
We're
3."
not giving you that.
Yeah, like fair. If you're way off base with your values, like that can get personal.
Of course. And I mean, maybe that changes as Boston maybe starts to regret giving him the money he thought he was worth.
Called it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is fun. Obviously, Canucks fans would love to see it. Canucks fans are so incredibly tied to Nikita Zadorov. It's insane.
Which, like, why?
Yeah, but
Why?
that's not gonna happen.
I watched Canuck fans for a decade look a gift horse in the mouth and talk shit about the Sedins
I know.
and call them the sisters.
Oh, I know.
And say how useless they are.
I know.
Just to praise Nikita fucking Zadorov and beg for him back.
Dude, there was a guy right behind us at game 2 of the second round, behind me and Carly, just screaming repeatedly about how we need more Russians. Every time Zadorov would hit someone, he'd be like, "More Russians!" And
That man's
just
Russian.
Like, he was not Russian.
No, we found the sleeper.
Sleeper agent.
Yeah,
indeed.
we found him.
I was just like,
Doll.
these motherfuckers are just so damn dumb.
It's incredible, really.
Yeah, whatever. Stupid Canucks fans. Let's move on, please. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want more Bruins stuff too.
You know, Canucks fans in like the 2010s remind me of Rangers fans now. Like just like
Valid.
so spoiled and entitled and just like
Yeah.
the whiniest little babies.
I mean, like, yes, but at least the Canucks have like reason to be angry because it's a 50-year franchise without a cup.
Now, yeah, but like back then,
Even
they
that
were like,
40-year franchise without a cup.
These two Swedish dweebs just passing back and forth. Take a shot once in a while. It's like, okay, like
that's that Canadian nationalism plagues.
Yeah, I blame Don Cherry.
Yeah, I do too.
Don Cherry for Prime Minister.
The Bruins may consider. Shut up. The Bruins may consider trading at least one of Zacha, Charlie Coyle, or Morgan Geekie. Yeah, you gotta start thinking about trading everyone.
Yeah, I mean that's not really news either.
No.
A lot of these actually, I put this whole slide deck in because a lot of them it's just like dripping with sarcasm.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Like Bruins thinking of trading everyone of value that they still have.
And this next one, dripping of sarcasm too. The Ducks management don't seem to believe in Trevor Zegras.
Oh my
Clearly.
God. Yeah. Yeah, think?
Yeah. Really, I could have guessed that one. Columbus is exploring the trade market for David Jiricek. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, value piece, sure.
I mean, yeah, when aren't the Blue Jackets trying to sell like a second, third pairing defenseman that no one's ever cared for or wanted?
Well, and like we were just talking about a couple weeks ago with the defense market right now. Like, of course,
it's super high.
It's time to sell.
If you have anything that's worth anything, just slide it out there because you know you may as well see what bites.
Yeah. Predators are receiving calls about their 3 first-round picks, but they don't want to trade them. Duh.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Dead last in the league?
Hey, guys, just wondering if those potential lottery picks are up for trade.
Yeah, no.
Just get back to me as
yes, as you can.
Convenience.
Jackets hope to get a first-round pick for Ivan Provorov closer to the deadline.
Snore.
Yeah, we got hella beef with Ivan Provorov. However, they probably could get that. Like, honestly, with this market.
I mean, yeah, probably.
He's serviceable.
But it's also like a trade I would have expected, like when he was with the Flyers, years ago. It's just crazy the market's like that jacked up that he's still worth that.
Yeah. Again, bad team wants to trade defensemen. The Canadians may have no choice but to trade Mike Matheson at the deadline from Frank Cervelli. Yep, probably.
Shocker.
Yeah. Chicago Blackhawks would make sense as a landing spot for Morgan Frost via Elliot Friedman.
Now that one is juicy.
Interesting.
I think that, and I heard Biz talking about it earlier this week as well.
Yeah.
And I can't help but agree. It would be really interesting and perhaps a worthwhile experiment to give Bedard a full season just on the wing. We've seen him,
I don't hate that.
We've seen him do the two-way player. He's capable of it.
For sure.
But it clearly affects his offensive game.
Yeah.
Do you want to have
I
him?
don't know.
I think he's the type of player where you could end up with a lot of different types of players depending on what you want to utilize.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be interesting to see a full season of Bedard letting loose on the wing and being able to display more of that speed and a little bit less responsibility.
Yeah. Yep. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Teams continue to show trade interest in Yanni Gourde and Brandon Tanev from David Pagnotta. Cool. Teams show trade interest in Yanni Gourde and Brandon Tanev.
Also shocking. Well, Tanev not. Tanev believable.
Yanni Gourde doesn't shock me either.
Really?
Cup pedigree.
But like
solid both ends of the ice.
Hopefully
you could acquire him for cheap kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see more teams being interested in like an Andre Palat than a Yanni Gourde.
I don't think that they're all that different.
No, potentially not, I guess. But I
Yeah.
think Gord's just Gord. I think Gord's just really hit that cliff.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. It doesn't move me all that much, honestly, either way. Seattle's got to figure out what they're doing just in general.
Again,
Yeah.
speaks to top-down unity.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have it.
Yeah, got to stop balling out in free agency for mid players.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's great and all to, like, make some moves, like,
No.
but eventually you have to find a direction. I understood that Seattle needed to find some names so that they could sell some jerseys. Like,
But, like, they didn't even.
no, they
They
never
just-
had. They never did.
They don't. I don't know if they're just like, we love second liners, but, like, they just don't seem to, like, care at all about getting elite talent.
They're playing NHL 18 still.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, Jordan Eberle.
Yeah, damn right.
Sam do another 4, slap the C on him. That's gonna bring the fans in.
Shout out to Eberle.
I actually love Eberle.
Yeah, me too.
Shout out Ebs.
All right, well, that's all we got for this week. This has been a fun episode.
Yeah, I had a blast.
We had a lot of things to talk about this week. Next week we'll be back. We're getting close to the holidays here.
Yeah, we got. I guess so. What day is it? It's the 23rd, 2nd.
Yeah, 23rd.
Yeah, week away basically from. Someone edited in Mariah Carey's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I mean, like we said, American Thanksgiving coming up to all of our American listeners. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Watch some football, make some great food, and do your thing.
Yeah, enjoy that turkey. Have some mac and cheese for me.
Black Friday deals at Raycon. Check those out. Black Friday will be this episode as well. The week of this episode, so check that out as well.
If you're bored at home, shop some seats on Game Time.
That's
It's
right.
always fun.
And of course, if you're gonna do any gambling, do it on DraftKings Sportsbook. For all three of those, promo code is THPN. It helps us out a lot when you use that. So, heck yeah.
Heck yeah. And subscribe if you can. If you think we've earned it today, that would be amazing. We would greatly appreciate that. Every single like and subscribe, it means a lot. It gives us the ability to further push the show and create some more really amazing content for you guys.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to do more of that this year moving forward. So
Absolutely. As always, I'm Tico.
I'm yours truly.
Producer Jay. Go Steelers, by the way.
Did y'all win, by the way?
No.
What are you saying go Steelers for? You already
'Cause-
fucking lost.
Because I'm ride or die no matter what. And I've honestly spent the entire podcast just like
Stewing over
just steaming over here, to be honest with you.
steaming over the snow games. Slid second in the notes. I wondered what you had invested in snow games. I was like, that's such a weird note to put in here. Out of all of the contributions you could have made, there's like 10 bullet points here. The only thing you added was snow games.
Yeah.
Diabolical.
Keep your head up.
Boom.
Boom.
Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick talk. Stick